Hello, we are the Real Programming channel. My name is Andrei. This is our 21st lesson. I greet you. We will talk about how default pages work behind the scenes. So let's start. The user types HTTP Starbucks coffee come drinks into the browser. It was first. 2. HTTP request, could I please have the file drinks? 3. The server says that looks like directory is the default file in that directory. 4. Server locate as a default file called index.html. The drinks are directory. And 5. HTTP response, you ask for a directory, but I found the index.html in that directory. So that is what I'm sending you log back. So there are no dumb questions. So anyone who comes at my site with the URL http 3w my site com is going to see my index.html page, right? Or possibly a default HTML, depending on which kind of web server your hosting company is using. Not that default HTML usually has no I on the end. This is a Microsoft Web Server Oddity. There are other possible default file names like index.php that come into play if you start writing scripts to generate your pages. That's way beyond this book, but that doesn't mean you won't be doing it in the future. So when I'm giving someone my URL, is it better to include the index.html part or not? Not. It's always better to leave it off. What if in the future you change to another web server and it uses another default file name like default HTML, or you start writing scripts and use the name index.php, then the URL they originally gave out would no longer be valid. Exercise. Earl needs a little help with his URLs. Earl may know Earl, but he doesn't know URL. He needs a little help figuring out the URL for each of the files below, labeled A, B, C, D, and E. On the right, write in the URL needed to retrieve each corresponding file from Earl's Earl's root folder. This and write the URL this. Fantastic. We are up and running on the web. I'm already hearing great buzz about our site and the stores, but the way we got a new caffeine awareness program, we figure if we're going to be pumping people full of caffeine, we want them to know how to take it to the limit. Can we point people to the caffeine information over and Weekly Smart Canvas from our site? How do we link to other websites? URLs aren't just for typing into browsers. You can use them right in your HTML and of course right on SEO. The Starbuzz CEO has a new task for you. Make a link from the main Starbuzz page over to the coffee information at HTTP. Weekly Smart Canvas is, you can probably guess, we're going to follow that URL right into an element. Here's how. I have HTTP weeklysmart.com/bus caffeine bus, and everyday normal garden variety element. We put a URL in the ref. Clicking on the label caffeine bus will retrieve a page from Weekly Smart Canvas. That's all there is to it. To link to any resource on the web, all you need is a uniform resource locator which goes in the element at the value of the ref attribute. Let's go ahead and add this in a Starbuzz index.html page. Linking to caffeine bus. Open your Starbuzz index.html file in the chapter 4 Starbuzz folder and scan down to the bottom. Let's add two new links, a relative link to the mission element in mission HTML and the link to caffeine bus. Make the changes below, then save and load your HTML index.html file in your browser. click on the link and enjoy the caffeine buzz. Oh, here's the link to the mission HTML file. This uses a relative path to link to mission HTML. We added a BR to put the links on two different lines. Here's where we've added the link to the weekly smart.com buzz page, and we added this summary structure here by grouping the links and the text into a paragraph. And now for the test drive. Here is the page with the new link, just as we planned it. Here is a new link. Notice we only linked the world's caffeine buzz, so it looks a little different from the other link. And when you click on the link, your browser will make an HTTP request weekly smart.com buzz and then display the result. So there are no dumb questions. It seems like there are two ways to link to pages now: relative paths and URLs. Relative paths can only be used to link to pages with the same website, while URLs are typically used to link to other websites. Wouldn't it be easier if you just stuck with URLs for links to my own pages and outside pages? That would work, wouldn't it? Sure, it would work, but there is a couple of reasons you don't want to go there. One problem is that URLs are hard to manage when you have a lot of them in a web page. They are long, difficult to edit, and they make HTML more difficult to read for you, the page author. Also, if you have a site with nothing but URLs that link to local pages and you move the site or change its name, you have to go change all those URLs to reflect the new location. If you use relative paths, as long as your pages stay in the same set of folders, because the link are all relative, you don't have to make any changes to your element href attribute. So use relative links to link to your own pages in the same site, and URLs to link to pages at other sites. Haven't we seen one other protocol? I kept sync file free / before we start using a web server. Yes, a good catch. The file protocol is used when the browser is reading files right off your computer. For example, the file URL file free / chapter 4 / Starbuzz / index.html tells the browser that the file index.html is located at the path / different chapter 4 / Starbuzz. These paths may look different depending on your operating system and browser. One important thing to notice in case you try to type in the file URL is that the file URL has 3 slashes, not 2, like HTTP. Remember it this way. If you take an HTTP URL and delete the website name, you'll have 3 slashes too. Are there other protocols? Yes, many browsers can support retrieval of pages with the FTP protocol, and there is a mail protocol that can send data via email. HTTP is the protocol you'll be using most of the time. I've seen URLs that look like this: HTTP 2/3w my domain.com 8000 /index HTML. Why is there 8000 in there? The 8000 is an optional port that you can put in an HTTP URL. Think of a port like this. The website name is like an addresses, and the port is like a mailbox number at an addresses. Say in an apartment complex, normally everything on the web is delivered to the default port, which is 80. But sometimes web servers are configured to receive requests at a different port, like 8000. You'll most likely see this on test servers. Regular web server almost always accept requests on the port 80. If you don't specify a port, is default to 80. The case of relatives and absolutes, we'll talk about this in the next lesson. And on this, our 21 lesson are over. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Put likes, share with friends, comment, eat bananas, chocolate and nuts, drink more water for the effective work of our brains. Bye.